Yeah. Mud.
Welcome everyone to the first edition of 2022 on the Words of Rizdom podcast / interviews. They're going to be a bit shorter to begin with, just because we're strapped for a bit of time. We're out in Dubai at the moment for the Viper conference that we're hosting. We've had about 30 Vipers fly out, and I thought I'd do some sort of like podcast conversations about people's journeys and just overall, not really, there's no topic set, so it's just going to be a bit of a conversation. And I'm here with my longtime student, turned friend, turned senior Viper as well, Louis. And yeah, we're just going to crack on with it really. How you doing, man?
I'm good, how are you, bro?
Alright, man, alright. Where were you yesterday?
Mate, yeah, everywhere. I was spent the day in Dubai Mall.
Yeah.
That was good. That was I done something like 20,000 steps, bro. I couldn't believe how big it was. Yeah. And spent the evening up the Burj Khalifa at the top, which was crazy experience.
Yeah, so we got lost in the mall. We got lost in the mall.
It's so big. It's so big.
Honestly, I was like, we were racing through. We were late for dinner, and I think we were buckets of sweat by the end. It wasn't a good sight at the end. But yeah, that's good, man. But Louis, I know your story. Obviously, I've been 2 years probably.
Yeah,
2 years. And so I know your story, but I know a lot of people probably see your name, and I know you post as well regularly on socials, and there's many people inside the Vipers, for example, who will definitely know you as well, and they won't know your story. So I just like, how long have you been trading? What was the sort of journey like?
Yeah.
What were some of the ups and downs?
Yeah, so obviously been with yourself for, like you say, about 2 years or so, give or take, and I had maybe about a year prior to that, sort of a bit on and off. Obviously, I saw on Instagram people trade and whatnot.
Classic.
Obviously, classic. And it wasn't none of the sort of stuff what obviously we know now, but I had no idea what it was, and I just saw people making thousands from a phone or a laptop, and I was like, "What is this?" Naturally inclined, and I've always sort of had that willingness and aspiration to be able, if I can travel the world and earn well financially, that's like a kind of dream of mine. I've always wanted to be able to do, and obviously upon research of Forex and investment and whatnot, crypto stuff like that, found out that if I got good at it, that would be possible. And then obviously started studying up on stuff, learning all the normal retail stuff, losing. Jumped through a few different mentors in the past, done a few courses, nothing really worked out and helped. But eventually, it's kind of a blessing in disguise. I gravitated sort of myself towards you and Cal and the Viper group, and from there it's just been great, mate. Ground running, good stuff.
It's great to hear, and I think one thing that is always been sort of a real talking point between myself and yourself, and I think it's very relatable to pretty much everyone who goes down the trading route, investing route. And to be fair, even just people who try to be entrepreneurs or try and gain that level of success anyway, is the losses, the hard times. Because the one thing I've always admired about you is that you've always not shied away from sort of accepting that this was a hard time, accepting that I've had these losses, or I've been misled by these particular people, but it's never like altered your vision. And your motivation and drive. If anything, you probably pushed even further. Yeah. And I think, a lot of people will definitely relate to the losses and being misled, but they won't. I don't think that many people would relate with having the mindset enough to overcome it. A lot of people get kind of just stuck. I've been there before where even I've got stuck, and kind of, normally I don't do it for too long, but like, if I ever do it, it's like for a day or two, I'll just be feeling like overthinking things and feeling like, oh, how am I going to overcome this? But I've seen you do it as well, where it's a really great trait, I would imagine. I think it's one of those like sort of traits of the greats, Yeah. But how did you always have that? Was that something you sort of had to develop or learn, or?
I think a bit of both. I've had my fair share of hard times, without a doubt. Trading with trading, without trading as well. But the big losses, and also what a lot of people don't talk about is a bit of a pessimistic way to look at it, but like the loss of time, like it's not a get rich quick. I don't care what anyone says. It's possible to, but the reality of that happening is so it's basically gambling. As you know, if you can put on a trade and get X amount of money, but you're not going to do that consistently. But yeah, sort of, I had that understanding of, okay, this is going to take a bit of time to build this skill set, which I was fine with. I kind of treated it sort of either like a startup of my own business. And the way what really sorted out for me, I was really thinking about it. I can't remember what book I read, but it was along the lines of this sort of subject. And it was, if you want to create a business, as you know, you're going to have expenses, you're going to have overheads before you even sort of churn a profit, if you will. For instance, like my dad, he's a builder, he's got his own company. You know, he's got to buy a van, he's got to pay his staff, he's got to pay for all the tools. You know, he's going to be like 30 grand down before he earns any money. So why is trading any different? Yeah, if all right, yeah, it's not nice to take a load of losses, pay for a load of courses, pay for education, but that's the reality of the game. You're going to take losses, and you're going to have to deal with the hardships before you start seeing sort of the sunshine, if you will. And I had that in my head the whole time. I just treat sort of the losses as business expenses, and just sort of, you know, that makes me sort of cope with it a lot better.
Yeah, no, it's a very valid point, and I think one saying that I read recently, I think it was on Instagram, someone said, you know, trading isn't get rich quick, it's get rich slow, right? And it's so true, like, and it's not even just trading, like, I think, because, I don't know if it's because of social media, because more than likely, you know, even decades ago, before social media was even around, I'm sure people had the same mindset of just trying, you know, things are easy, you know, success is easy, or, you know, if I do this business, I'll be rich, or whatever it may be. So it's, you know, a lot of the time I will find myself saying that, you know, on social media, but that's just because of our generation. We're kind of just about, you know, growing up with it towards the end of our sort of childhood and you know, teenage years, for example. But really, I'm sure it's a trait that's been around for a long time, where people just are always thinking that if I do business, I'll be successful, I can be rich, I can have this and that. But they always just see positives, right? And that's one thing that kind of helped me with overcoming losses or hardship or adversity, is just understanding there's always a balance, right? So even if, let's say, you know, let's say I've lost £1,000 or blown an account in trading, that's a negative. I've lost the money, I wasn't disciplined, or you know, now I might need to save up again or work, for example. They're the negatives. But then the positive is, you know, I've learned how that happened. I've learned why whatever I did to do that shouldn't happen again. You know, and I've learned, you know, what to avoid moving forward. So there are positives there as well, but I feel kind of talking about what we talked about earlier, where people kind of struggle to see that, you know, and struggle to overcome things. It's because they struggle to see what the blessing in disguise is. There's something from Think and Grow Rich, where it's like, I think it was The Alchemist, sorry. It's like, you'll be severely tested, you know, before you're successful. You'll have beginner's luck, so like in trading, you'll, you know, even when you don't really know much, you're still profitable. You know, you have a profitable day or profitable trade. Sometimes you might flip an account. You may even withdraw. But normally, that's the beginner's luck is the enticement. That's the thing that sort of gets you in through the door, keeps you in the door, and then you're severely tested after that. You know, that's when the hardships will come, maybe the scams, the misleading, the signals you try. And it's really to test you to see, are you willing to do what it takes to actually become in this case, a trader, or could be anything though. You know, like even like professional footballers, for example, like, you know, how many people in the UK, for example, you hear of, I could have been professional, but this happened, but this happened. But I have no doubt that, you know, a lot of professional footballers probably had injuries too, you know, that would be defined as career ending, but they just overcame, you know, they just did what was necessary, took the right steps, and probably had that perseverance, you know, the correct mindset to actually, no, I'm not going to give up on, you know, my dream and goal because of X, Y, and Z. But you see it in any industry. So like you're saying about overheads. So like, I had a corner shop before, literally the year before I found trading. I bought a corner shop, and it was like total investment. It was like 100k, 120k, and yeah, it was just like, that was before I even started trading, as in like trading as in operating the business. So yeah, I completely understand. It's so true. And you know, luckily trading didn't have to be that same level of cost, but it was still quite substantial before I made the changes. And you know, I would say a lot of people are blessed now compared to when we started.
There's so much more now.
Yeah, because there's so much of it more available. There are slowly better educators coming around, which makes a massive difference, because when I started, for example, there was literally the 2 or 3 companies that you had available to you to be able to join.
Yeah, I think that as well. And going back on sort of what you were saying about, everyone sort of learns in different ways and from different people, if you will. I would say one of the key aspects in this is, in the trading sort of world, is try and not to compare yourself to others, because it's so easily done. It's easy to do in general, just in life. Obviously you have social pressures from social media and so on, and especially probably that's even accelerated more so from the trading lifestyle. And we've seen that maybe out here in Dubai. There's a lot of money going around, a lot of nice cars and whatnot, and it's very, very easy to fall into a negative trap that I don't have this, I don't have that, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I think it's important to stay level-headed and obviously appreciate the journey of, sort of embrace it, if you will, like how far you come. And I'd just use the analogy, like, just be better than what you were yesterday, whether that be exercise, whether that be reading a book, networking, connecting with people, trying to stay disciplined on like your trading plan, things like that. It's very easy to fall into a sort of a negative wheel where there's so many people out there to say, I can do this for you, I can do that. You see stuff on Twitter and YouTube be like, give me 5k and I'll turn it into 50 or something like that. And unfortunately, we live in a world where regulation probably isn't great in this industry, and a lot of people do get scammed, and it does have a very bad name. But yeah, like anything is possible, and fortunately, going back to what you're saying about all the hardships, I do look at it as a blessing in disguise, because that gravitated me towards yourself and the Vipers, and I've looked back, so it's been good stuff.
That's it, and I appreciate that. And one thing I would say is that we've seen, kind of back on your point, like improving every single day, and you don't know where life's going to take you, and sort of as long as you're continually growing. So a year ago, literally just over a year ago, by like a few weeks, I was here in Dubai, and I hosted a meetup. I didn't have the Vipers at the time, and it was literally, I think, about 12 people, random people as well, and we were spread out because of the COVID regulations at the time. And now we're here a year later with 200 plus strong Vipers at the 30, 40, or I think 45 maybe even, coming to an actual conference suite this time. So it's just crazy to see within 12 months how much can be done, and it's all down to putting in that hard work, as you said, increasing the network, and just trusting that your hard work will pay off. But I think we're going to finish up there, because we're going to have to shoot off soon. But I thought I'd just leave on like one piece of advice that you would have to people who are especially starting up in our style of trading, because they might not be learning from us, which is absolutely fine, but just because I feel a lot of people, when they do start up with this way, they struggle to realize what a good sort of process to follow is. A lot of them should rush, and it's like they found that get rich quick energy again for some reason when they find this way. That's normally something that holds them back. So I just thought, any sort of like advice you would give to them?
I would definitely say, if I were to give one word, I'd probably say discipline. It's so easy to be ill-disciplined. With the nature of how we trade, you know if you're right or wrong pretty much instantly, and it's very easy to revenge trade, because if you're out the trade, you're going to be out of it within a couple of minutes, and that's very easy to, you lose 1, you lose 2, and then you lose 3, you lose 4, and all of a sudden, that could turn into big damage, and then your psychology goes as well. So I would just say, keep disciplined, and then just embrace the process and trust the process. Going back to what I was saying, treat every day as a new day and try and be better than the day before, and you're not going to be far wrong. So
very, very valid advice. And well, thank you for tuning in, everyone. And Louis, we're going to put his socials or any sort of links in the bio and description below, so be sure to check him out as well. And these are a bit more shorter clips than what we're planning to do, hopefully, in the future. But it's kind of just getting an insight into what we're looking to do, and we'll get some feedback, hopefully. So just drop some feedback on how you found these little interviews / podcast series. And thank you for all your support. Thank you for all the messages that you send us as well. And if you're not a supporter just yet, click subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video.